So CR13, critical review 13, operations of square root. Some of this is a little bit of review too, but we're going to kind of go into some more depth with, for example, the quotient rule for simplifying square roots. So quotient rule says I can split those up. Square root of a over b equals square root of a over square root of b. So this would be the same as the square root of 121 over the square root of 225. Because I know the square root of 121 is 11. 11 times 11. And square root of 225 is 15. 15 times 15 is 225. So this just ends up being 11 over 15. This one I would also split up. I'd have square root of 80 over square root of 49. Because I know the square root of 49 is 7. And then 80, what is that? Isn't 80 16 and 5? 16 times 5. I know the square root of 16 is 4. So we got 4 root 5 over 7. So why don't you guys punch in the answer to that next one there. Square root of 108 over 25. Make sure. There we go. Go ahead and simplify those, you guys. I need to show those on the recording there. And let's move on here, adding, subtracting. So 5 root 18 minus 2 root 2. The square root of 18, let's break that down. Square root of 18 is 9 and 2. I know the square root of 9 is 3. So I have 15 root 2 minus 2 root 2. They're both square roots. They both have a 2 underneath. So 15 bananas minus 2 bananas, 13 bananas. 15 root 2 minus 2 root 2, 13 root 2. Let's keep going here. Square root of 20. Well, 20 is 4 and 5. And I know the square root of 4 is 2, so a 2 comes out. So I have 14 root 5 plus a 3 root 5, which is 17 root 5. Those are like radicals. 45 is 9 and 5. 6, nothing we can do with the square root of 6. It's 2 and 3, but you can't take the square root of either of those. 20 is 4 and 5. And we know the square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 4 is 2. So we have 27 root 5 minus 2 root 6 plus 16 root 5. Well, 27 root 5 plus 16 root 5 is 43 root 5. And then we still have minus 2 root 6. So 43 root 5 minus 2 root 6. You can go ahead, pause it here if you'd like, and try this problem. 12 root 3 minus 6 root 5. Alright, let's go ahead and FOIL now. Let's multiply square roots. So square root of 6 times square root of 6, square root of 36, or 6. Plus, now we do the outer. Square root of 6 times square root of 8. Now we do the inner. Negative root 8, root 6, and then finally we do the last, plus a negative root 8 times a positive root 8. So this is, oops, I wrote that wrong. Outer is the square root of 6 times the square root of 8. Sorry about that. So square root of 48 minus the square root of 48, so those are going to be gone. And then minus 8. 6 minus 8, we got negative 2 on that one. 7 plus root 6 quantity squared. So that's 7 plus root 6 and another 7 plus root 6. 7 times 7, 49. Plus 7 root 6. Inner is plus another 7 root 6. Square root of 6 times square root of 6 is square root of 36 or 6. Combine like terms. 49 and 6 gives us, 55. And then 7 root 6 plus 7 root 6 gives us 14 root 6. So 55 plus 14 root 6. Good time to pause it and check your work on the next one. Check your work there. Square root of 19 times square root of 13 minus square root of 19 square root of 13 would cancel. So you're just left with 19 minus 13. And let's keep going here. 5 times 2, 10. Plus 5 root 5 minus 2 root 5. And then negative root 5 times a positive root 5 is a negative 5. Those are like terms. And 10 minus 5 are like terms. It's 5. 7 root 5. 4 times 3, 12. Plus 4 root 2. Plus 3 root 7. Plus square root of 7 times square root of 2, square root of 14. Looks like we're all done. That's all we can do on that one. Six times 8, we got 48. Plus 8 root 2 minus 6 root 2. And then we've got minus 2. Those are like terms. And 48 minus 2 gives us 46. 8 root 2 minus 6 root 2 is a 2 root 2. So when we rationalize denominators, you don't want to have a square root on the bottom. You don't want an irrational number in your denominator there. So what we do is we rationalize it. And we rationalize it by multiplying it by itself. Well, if I multiply the bottom by square root of 19, I'm going to multiply the top by the square root of 19. So now this becomes 1 times the square root of 19, square root of 19. On the bottom, I got square root of 19 times square root of 19, which is 19. That is rationalized. That's the proper form. So you really shouldn't write it this way. You should rationalize it and write it as a square root of 19 over 19. This one's also improper with that square root of 6 on the bottom. So we'll multiply the bottom by the square root of 6 and the top by the square root of 6. And let's see what we get. Negative 42 square root of 6. On the bottom I got 5. Root 6 times root 6 is root 36 or 6. So I have negative 42 square root of 6 all over 30. Well, that both go into 2. In fact, you know what? Both of those go into 3, the 21 and the 15. So we got negative 7 root 6 all over 5 on that one. Good time to pause it here and try this next problem. Go ahead and check yourself on that one there, you guys. You should multiply bottom and then consequently the top by square root of 7 to rationalize that. Now, what if you have a couple of terms on the bottom? See how these are being added, square root of 17 plus 12? What you want to do here is you want to multiply by what's called the conjugate. We'll get rid of that. Conjugate is the same two terms, but you change the sign in the middle. In this case, it's a plus in the middle, so I'm going to change it to a minus. If I do it to the bottom, I got to do it to the top. So what I have is 8 times square root of 17 minus 12. It's the conjugate at the bottom. And then look what happens with my denominator when I multiply this. Square root of 17 times square root of 17 is 17. And then I have a minus 12 root 17. And then I have a plus 12 root 17. And then I have a 12 times a negative 12 minus 144. So this becomes I'm going to distribute that all over. And notice in the denominator that and that will cancel. That's what we wanted. So we're just left with 17 minus 144 on the bottom, which is negative 127 when I combine those two. And I'm going to go ahead and take that negative up top. I don't want that negative on the bottom. So if I take it up top, it'll change both of these signs. So that's negative, that one becomes positive. So I can write this as 96 minus 8 root 17 all over 127. All right, let's go ahead and rationalize this one and then try one last one. So when you rationalize, when you got a couple terms there with the square root in your denominator, multiply by the conjugate. So this becomes square root of 6 times 5 plus root 17 over, now I'm going to multiply 5 times 5, 25, plus 5 root 17 minus 5 root 17, and then minus 17. Notice those will cancel, right? That's why we multiply by the conjugate. And I'm going to go ahead and distribute that. So I have 5 root 6 plus 17 times 6, 102. Square root of 102 all over 25 minus 17, 8. So 5 root 6 plus square root of 102 all over 8. And go ahead and pause this and give this one a shot. All right, go ahead, check your work on that. Multiply by the conjugate, 7 plus root 6 on both sides, and call it good. Thanks for watching.